Hi, I'm going to cover important concepts for Chapter 1. So if you look at the title for Chapter 1, it says, what are variables? And then we have the what, the who, when, where, and why. So basically known as the W5. Anytime we're looking at variables, what does that mean in statistics? It has two defining characteristics. So a variable is an attribute that describes a person, a place, or a thing, or an idea, but it could also vary. If we look at the type of variables we have, they could either be qualitative or quantitative. So I would say these are the most important things of this chapter. What is the difference between qualitative data and quantitative? So if we look at the first one, qualitative, also known as categorical, so it has the same name, it means the same thing. That takes on values of either names or labels. So for example, the color of a ball, the color of your hair, or whether you are a ninth grader, a 10th grader. Those are all categorical data. In other words, they don't have a numerical value attributed to it. Another example is a breed of a dog. So this is known as categorical. We move on to quantitative data, which can be attributed to numerical, which is numerical numbers, and it measures quantity. So here are examples. Now, when we're looking at quantitative data, so the way to look at it is basically quantitative means that it makes sense to take the average. So for example, if you're measuring the height of several people, you can take the average height of all these people. But if you were to look at a color of a car, it wouldn't make sense to take the average of a color of a car. So sometimes it's hard to distinguish between numerical data and categorical. And I'll show you in the following example when that happens. All right, so when we're talking about quantitative variables, there are two types. There's discrete and continuous. What does it mean, discrete? Discrete is counting numbers. So for example, you're counting how many M&Ms. We're counting how many times I'm flipping a coin. Whereas continuous variables is where there's no gap in between. So for example, if a height is 173 centimeters, that will be continuous. So everywhere I look, there will be a measurement. But if I'm counting 5 people, I'm not going to say 1.2 people. So there's a jump between the first person to the second person to the third person. So that is known as discrete. So again, variables could either be qualitative, which is categorical, but if they are quantitative, they could be either discrete or continuous. All right, let's move on along. Univariate data just means looking at a single variable, and bivariate, so bi, the prefix means two, so that's looking at two variables. Let's take a look at an example. Here it says, which of the following statements are true? So if you want to pause the video here and see if you can get this correct, and I will go over it. Okay, so which of the following statements are true? All variables can be classified as quantitative or categorical variables. Yes, that is correct. 2, categorical variables can be continuous variables. No, categorical variables are not continuous variables. So if you recall, a categorical is the same as qualitative, which means you are not measuring anything. It's just either the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, the type of car, the type of dog. So that cannot be a continuous variable. Quantitative variables can be discrete variables, and yes, that is true. So the only thing that would be true here is 1 and 3. So the correct letter answer is E.